Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Good morning, friends. It's so lovely to be back here again on the other side of the solstice. Still a dark morning here in London that I know will be gradually coming to wake up as we wake up together. It's so touching, as always, to receive your messages and just feel us all here together. And really I'm feeling the shared commitment, this effort we've all made to wake up and come together and practice together. So such a deep, heartfelt welcome to you all, and a deep welcome to those of you joining in another time on the recording. I do feel that whenever we come together in a space like this, wherever we are in space, clearly, but also wherever we join in this strange thing called time, we are still entering the same shared space. So welcome to you wherever and whenever you are. So our practice this week will be one of exploring the theme of journeying from suffering to love, which is really the theme that's at the heart of these teachings, the teachings of the Buddha. But we'll be exploring it together in a way that's very immediate and embodied, through a practice of learning to pause from the midst of the reactivity we might be caught in, whether that's reactivity of a certain action that is habitual and reactive and compulsive, whether it's the reactivity of being caught in a certain contraction and collapse in the body, in the heart and the mind. So we'll be learning to pause and come into the body with curiosity and kindness. We'll be practicing breathing more deeply here, releasing the narratives and the beliefs that hold us entrapped, and receiving the support, the guidance, the love that's already here all around us, in order to feel what needs to be felt with so much love. I think it would be helpful first to clarify what I mean in this context by the word suffering. What I'm referring to is not the inevitable pain and imperfection of life. And that will always come, and we will always experience things that we don't want to experience. We will always experience difficult and challenging emotions. We'll always have things happen in our lives that are painful. And we'll always lose things that we don't want to lose. So these are things that are just very much part of being human and alive in a world that is ever-changing and ever unpredictable. So although these experiences are painful, what I'm referring to when I use the word suffering is our tendency to contract and collapse around the things we don't want, the things that we are afraid of, the things that are painful. Our tendency to either squeeze the life out of them by trying to hold on to them, obsessing, grasping, even as things are slipping through our fingers, are the way in which we squeeze the life out of this moment by trying to push it away, avoiding it, numbing it, denying it, fixing it before we've actually felt it. The ways that we just miss the aliveness of this moment by distracting ourselves from it. So this contractive nature that the Buddha described as clinging, the way in which we squeeze the life out of experience, carries with it a thread of contracting or collapsing that we feel in the body, the heart, and the mind. And that's actually ultimately much more painful, much more uncomfortable as well than the challenging experience that might have triggered the habit of contracting and collapsing. So I'll give the example. Some of you may already know, because I shared it on in my newsletter yesterday. It often seems to be the case with me that when I turn my attention towards reflecting on a particular aspect of the practice, life just lands it in my lap in a very direct way. So I don't need to reflect on it. I experience it, and I have to practice. I have to put my practice to practice in order to embody what I have been reflecting on. And it happened very directly for me on Friday when I turned my attention towards what I wanted to share this week. And really only moments later I discovered that my car had been stolen. And of course that very naturally brought up feelings of shock and anger and grief. But rather than making space, rather than pausing to make space to feel those feelings, to really land in this new moment, what unfolded is what I think so often unfolds for so many of us, which was I contracted in that shock, and rather than making space, I became busy. In an already busy day, I immediately did the things I need to do, contacting the police, figuring out what has to be done. And I also noticed I began to reach out to other people, wanting them to reflect my shock and outrage back to me, to validate that experience I was having. And it was only later on in the day when I was sharing with a friend this heaviness I was feeling. I'm feeling heavy because, about to go into the story, and I heard myself say that word heavy. And that was enough of a reminder to me of, oh, this is suffering. There's a heaviness that often comes. Sometimes there's very often there's a compulsiveness that comes. There's no time to stop, to pause now. This message has to be sent. This food just has to be eaten right now. This kind of mindless scrolling is somehow more important, whatever our compulsions may be. And so in that moment of remembering, I remembered to practice. And so I paused. And I came into my body again with kindness, with curiosity. I consciously released some of those stories that were seemingly more important and called in my supports, my guides, the sense of being connected here on the earth. And I felt, just here in my body, I felt the shock, how it freezes. I felt the anger, the outrage, the grief. And there was a softness that came back, and also an aliveness that came back that I'd noticed before. I was less able to creatively engage with what I wanted and needed to engage with in those hours before. And so there's actually more of a capacity when we step out of the tightness of suffering, more of a capacity to really engage with this moment with love. And it's love that has the most capacity to be creative, to bring the nuance and the other questions. Even for me, the question of, what opportunity is this bringing? Is this maybe an option to reflect more deeply if we can manage without a car? What other creative possibilities are there? So, suffering being this added layer of holding on, pushing away, or distracting, this added layer of contraction and collapse that we add to whatever is here in this moment. What we'll be exploring over the week, really breaking down some of those steps, even though they're not steps. It's more like a river of threads, currents that we bring in to support us to come back into loving presence. And what we'll be exploring this morning is this first practice of pausing to come into the body and really flooding our experience with kindness and curiosity. And so I don't think there's much more I want to say about that before we practice, other than the reminder that kindness and curiosity are so central to our practice. The way in which we meet this moment is even more important than meeting this moment itself. Because if we pause to come into the body with the same narrative of criticism, of judgment, of demanding something from this moment, doing this so that something else can happen, where those are the qualities of heart, body, and mind that we're supporting and cultivating. So remembering that everything we're doing here is to just bring us back into remembrance, an embodied remembrance and expression of love. Then coming into the body with love, which we can perhaps feel most easily through these two wings of curiosity and kindness, wisdom and compassion, is really the heart of my practice, at least for me. So friends, let's establish a posture that feels supportive for you. Whether that's sitting down or lying or even standing up. Establishing a grounded posture. And maybe taking a few moments to really feel the ground. Even if you're seated, you can wiggle a little bit like I'm doing here. Feel where you're in contact with the ground. And take a soft, slow breath in through your nose. Breathing out with a sigh or a sound. Begin to notice your breathing and notice if your breathing feels stuck and tight. We'll be exploring breathing as more of a central focus tomorrow, but each thread is present every time we come to practice. So for now, noticing if there are some movements in your body that would be helpful for you to free up your breathing a little more. Freeing up the diaphragm, the belly, the back ribs. Yawning is really helpful. Opening the mouth wide, squeezing and stretching the skin and muscles of your face. Taking as many sighs like that as you find helpful. So you begin to feel yourself to be here in your breathing body. You begin to feel the contours of your body. This space, or this experience that I call my body. Actually an ever-changing, pulsing field of experience. And so really releasing the idea of my body, and particularly releasing the stories that come with that, the beliefs that come with that. So that we can come instead more deeply and land and widen and spread into the felt sense of this pulsing, changing field of experience, of body, breathing here. When we come into the body, it says, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. And now consciously relaxing your jaw, make space between your back teeth. Release the root of the tongue wherever you feel that to be. Soften all the tiny muscles behind your eyes and the inner corners of the eyes. Softening and widening the outer corners of your eyes. Relaxing the skin of your eyelids, the skin of your face, the skin of your inner cheeks, the inner throat. The muscles of your shoulders. The tightness in your belly. Breathing there. And spreading this invitation for breathing and relaxation inside the body. Like the light of curiosity which illuminates wherever it shines. A curiosity which whispers so tenderly, I'm listening. I'm here and I'm listening. And if there are any tender places in your body, places that hurt physically or emotionally, like the heart, diaphragm, belly, throat, allow a hand or two hands to rest there. Breathing into these places as if each breath fills this area, these areas with warmth. Inviting the quality of kindness, of care to spread through your body, like a warm blaze. Kindness whispering, I love you. I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. Each breath whispering, I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. Coming back here to the body, to the breathing. Curious and kind. Even if something is hurting right now, even if many things need to be resolved, first, here, I'm here, I'm listening, and I love you. relax into this embrace. Let yourself trust it. I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. Invite this curiosity and kindness to permeate through your body, whether you perceive it as a color, or like a light, or a sense of warmth, spreading even into the darkest recesses, the stuck places in the diaphragm, in the belly, in the heart, in the mind. Whispering, I'm here, I'm listening, I love you. Letting this warmth melt the feeling of stuckness, illuminate the feelings of tightness, of heaviness. Permeate the feelings of collapse. No place left untouched by this breath. Curious, caring. I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. Still here. Still listening. Still loving. As you inhale now, you might like to bring your palms together to meet in a prayer position in front of the heart, or if you're lying down, you can rest the hands on your heart and belly. You sense this loving presence within yourself. Recognize and feel the field of loving presence between us. Spanning the world, like this same golden, warm, luminous light that some of you might have felt within you. Like threads around the world connecting between us. Feel yourself held too in this remembrance that you're not alone. You're so, so far from alone. And we're here. We're listening. We love you. So thank you for your presence. I certainly felt you all.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.